Hello. Just want to reassure parents and pupils about the safety measures we put in place for return to school next week, obviously on the 1st of September, from the 1st of September. First thing you'll notice is that we would like all children to enter the school through the main entrance, which is at the front of the school. You'll notice as well that all the staff will be wearing their high-vis jackets, so if any of the children need to see a member of staff, they're easily recognised. On entering, we want every child to use the hand sanitizer to clean and wash their hands, and then enter the building through the main entrance. In school, we've put a one-way system into school, which will be in operation on all staircases and throughout the school. That will stop pupils passing one another in communal areas. Okay. On the idea of the one-way system will run around the school. The arrows are clearly marked on the floor for the children to follow, and the staff will be making sure that the children actually follow the one-way system around the school. Also, in terms of masks for communal areas, you'd be aware that the guidance has now changed, and your child has the opportunity, if they wish to wear a mask in the communal areas. Communal areas being corridors, in the hub area, in the canteen area, but that's purely for you as a parent to decide if you want that to happen. In terms of what happens in the classroom, the first thing is that children will be expected to take the mask off as they enter the classroom. Once they've entered the classroom, we'd like them to use the hand sanitizer to clean their hands. The children are going to be sat in alphabetical order on a seating plan. This is in order to ensure that we know exactly where the children are and follows the guidelines in terms of the test, trace and protect. For added safety, we've employed our cleaning staff to work around the clock and coming in periodically to clean classrooms. But in order to provide extra protection for your children, we expect them to clean their own work area before and at the end of the lesson, using the antibacterial wash. There is no social distancing with pupils, but there is social distancing between pupils and staff with other staff as well. In every classroom, there will be an area where that is the teacher area. That is to protect the children and to protect the staff. All classrooms have also been set up to ensure that children face the front of the classroom. This is again to ensure that children are not facing one another in close proximity. As good practice, there are 2-metre markers around the school. This is more as an indication for the children to keep their distance, and we would encourage the children to keep their distance around in communal areas as well. Outside, the children will be kept in zones based on their year group. So for instance, year 7 will be in the courtyard area for break and for lunch. Other year groups will be in other parts of the school, again to try and keep children apart during communal time, such as break and in lunch. Children are going to be kept in their year group bubble. That will be for break time, lunch time, and obviously during lessons as well. And we would ask as well that if they've got older brothers or sisters in school, that they don't mix with them when they're actually in the school building, in order to keep the year groups separate. In terms of toilet areas, we've increased the cleaning for the toilet areas. The toilets will be cleaned at regular periods throughout the day. Again, we ask the children to wash their hands with the sanitizer first. Once they've been to the toilet, we want them to wash their hands thoroughly using the soap and water in the dispensers. There's no substitute for washing hands. That is obviously one of the biggest ways of preventing coronavirus, and we want the children to get in the habit of thoroughly washing their hands after going to the toilet. To begin with, there will be no assemblies in the theatre, again to reduce numbers of children gathered together. We will run assemblies, but there will be virtual assemblies run through Microsoft Teams. Equipment, we ask every child to make sure they bring their equipment to school, and obviously they use that equipment themselves. Basic equipment, pen, pencil, ruler, pencil case. It's really important that the children bring their own equipment. And the other thing we ask, and we will reinforce with the children, is that they do not share equipment with other pupils as well. We are going to offer a limited range of food at break and for lunch. Again, making sure we follow safety measures, and the children again will be sat in their year team double to eat as well. In terms of break and for lunch, the children will be on staggered lunch and break, and again to keep year groups apart. And again, the children will be asked to sanitise before using things like the biometric fingerprint system in order to pay for their food. In IT rooms, or any lesson when the children will need a computer, again we're asking the children to clean down the computer keyboard themselves and the mouse, ready to start the lesson. I will also ask them to clean down the keyboard and the mouse at the end of the lesson as well, again to provide that extra level of protection. In line with all other schools across Wales, we're going to use the first 2 weeks as a transition period to bring your children back in their year groups at different times over that 2-week period. And it's really important as parents and as pupils that you check the website, check parent mail to make sure that you know exactly what days we're expecting your child in school. We are, unlike other schools, are going to have your children in for the full day. So that means that school starts at 8:40 and school will finish at around 3 o'clock. Although we will operate a staggered end to the day over a 10-minute period in order to make sure that we can release the children safely in small groups as well. In terms of uniform, we want the children in uniform when they return in September. We think this is really important because as parents it's going to allow you to keep their school uniform separate from the clothes that they're going to wear outside school as well. When the children have PE lessons, in order to stop the need for them to change in a changing room, and again to add that extra level of safety, for the first 2 weeks we're going to ask you to send your children in their PE kit or have their PE kit underneath their school uniform. This again, as I said, will stop them needing to change in the changing room. Lastly, and probably most importantly, we're asking you as parents and the pupils to fully follow and support us in all the safety measures that we've put into place over the last 6 weeks. And I will say that we cannot have any child in school if they are deliberately flouting the rules and putting other children or staff at risk. So please, we will ensure that we reinforce this with the children, and we ask you as parents to please support us and also ensure that your child follows those rules, which are there to protect them and is to protect our staff from the COVID-19 pandemic, which clearly has had a major effect on your child's education over the last 5 or 6 months. Thank you.